All right, welcome into the Midweek Report right here on Hashmark Sports, HashmarkSports.com, YouTube, TikTok, wherever you're checking any of this stuff out. Thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it. It's myself, Dave Evergreen, and Philly Phan. Philly, how we doing?
I'm doing great, man. It's beautiful here today. I'm in the enchanted forest, as I call it, just
Yes.
enjoying a little bit of the rays. And
Is Winnie the Pooh there? Christopher Robin? Any of those guys?
I think I hear him behind me looking for some honey.
Yeah.
Birds are chirping, but yeah, dude, I of course now the dogs are going to start barking, but I haven't done that at all since we've been on. But let's get into it, man. I'm excited. We got a couple really good NBA series here coming up.
Yeah, and what a tragedy. Let's first start with a recap of Suns Dallas. I had a future on the Phoenix Suns, and a lot of people did too. There were a lot of people on TikTok, some that really liked Dallas. What was your take on this Game 7 specifically, and kind of the legacy? I loved your TikTok on the CP3 stuff.
Oh, thanks, dude. Yeah. So I think like a lot of people, they kind of expected this would be the Suns series, I guess. But I will say this, I was very impressed with Dallas since they've basically made the trade. They got rid of Porzingis and brought in Dinwiddie. Been talking about them a lot. And I obviously didn't expect them to win by 500 points, but I thought the +6 was interesting. I didn't have a wager on it. It was just kind of how I thought. At the end of the day, I thought probably Phoenix might eke out like a game at the end or a close win, and I thought that Dallas would cover. I am a little bit stunned on the result. However, the more I look at it, they took it to them, and the last couple games, even going into that, I mean, Phoenix looked stunned. They looked like they just didn't know how to recover, and it never stopped. And Luka was like, he basically told him, like, I'm coming for you. And, and he did. And it's really impressive. They play tremendous team defense. They got a bunch of guys that can shoot threes. And the thing that I love the most about them is they got 3 guys at least that can create their own shot. And that's Dinwiddie, Luka, and Brunson. And it's working. And I don't know, man, Jason Kidd's got them playing really well.
Yeah, Western Conference Finals, Dallas Mavericks and the Golden State Warriors. Who would have even thunk it? Even in that series, I think it was who was it? Was it Darian or Darren Brooks? Somebody called them out saying they're too young or they're old. We're young. We're going to win.
Right.
They lost. I mean, but that's the Warriors. These guys have done it before.
You're right. The Warriors have been there and done that. They got the names. They got guys that are world champions. I completely agree with you, but to get to this point, they played a Denver Nuggets team that was banged up without 2 of their major players. It was basically just Jokic, right? And then they move on to the Grizzlies, which we spoke about them being a young team. 100% true. They were missing Ja Morant, though, for a few of those games. And honestly, quite frankly, up until the last couple of minutes, 5, 6, 7 minutes of that last game, that was a competitive series. And earlier in the series, Ja Morant missed a layup at the buzzer that would have won a game. I'm just saying they had a lot of trouble with that team. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if I'm going out on a limb, and I'm not suggesting that the Warriors won't win the series or can't win the series. Mm-hmm. But I think there is a shitload of value on the Dallas Mavericks, not only to win the series at +200, but to take them at +1.5 games, even at like -115, just not to lose by 2 or more. I don't see why, like, Luka and that team just beat a much better, in my opinion, defensive team than the Golden State Warriors. I mean, yes, you got Draymond. Steph is not a great defender. Poole's all right. I mean, they're Wiggins is a good defender, but I see a lot of mismatches. Who's going to guard Luka? I think what Jalen Brunson was able to do with Chris Paul, and I'm not suggesting that Steph Curry is Chris Paul. I want to be very clear. Chris Paul's 37 years old. But he posted Chris Paul up. He ran him around the court on the offensive end while Chris Paul was on defense, and he wore his ass out. And I know that Steph Curry likes to move around a lot on offense. If you can get him working on defense and post-ups, because Brunson's bigger than he is as far as like physically bigger, and you can get him moving around, I just think it can tire him out and wear him out during a series, that you get tired legs, maybe your jump shot's a little bit off. I just think there's areas where Dallas can exploit that. And I really think that Dallas can win this series, dude.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I don't think it's crazy. I think what what the books are going to love off this is exactly what you're talking about. Public Warrior money. What have the Warriors done?
Yep.
Curry, Klay Thompson, even Steve Kerr at the helm, great coach. They're going to win games in this series, no doubt. Dallas
No,
wins this series, though. In my opinion, I'm with you. Luka's a killer. He's
yep,
on another level. We know
yep.
that now. He's
Who's
proven it.
stopping him? Who?
Nobody. And when you're playing that game 7, a travesty, embarrassment, CP3. Like even if Devin Booker's getting double teamed, you still got to do something, Devin. I mean, and
Right.
The Kardashian thing is messed up. The Kardashian thing is messed up. These
Well,
are
might be true.
these are now multiple players. Blake Griffin went to the shitter after he went to Detroit, got the big contract, was dating Kardashian at the time. That went downhill. Ben Simmons, we don't even need to talk about. Now Booker, I'm not going to go there. I think it's early. Barstool Sports talked about it a little bit, but still,
Yeah.
you must wonder. Jason Kidd said we're taking Booker out of the game, basically putting it in CP3 hand. And
Yeah.
Ayton, like, I just feel like they messed up big time, and Monty wasn't. I think they were kind of like me, where we got this, and we're gonna win this.
Yeah.
Like we're destined to be here, and they got hit in the mouth, and they're going home. And I feel bad for Chris Paul just a little bit because man, what do you do? But the more I look into this Chris Paul shit, the defense thing, the Pat Beverly talking about him being a cone, and
Yeah.
he's great for
Cone.
the players. He's soft. It's like, dude, I can't. Like, how did you not win one with that Clippers team? Come on, are you kidding me? Really? So I'm like indifferent about it. I mean, I'm different about it, but I loved your TikTok again. And explain that real quick. You're not calling him CP3 anymore.
Yeah, I can't. I don't call him. I mean, listen. I'm saying this jokingly. Chris Paul's a hell of a player. He's a fucking first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
But right at the moment, he's not CP3 anymore. He's just flat out Christopher. I can't call him CP3. Just like James Harden, man. James Harden's not the beard anymore. He's a little bit less than the beard, and he's on my team. And I want him to be great. And I hope he comes back and he's great next year. And he takes his health seriously, and he gets back in the fucking shape he was in Houston. And maybe he gets back to a little bit of what he was, but. I mean, these are top 75 players of all time that just aren't playing at that elite level anymore. So now you're Christopher.
Yep. Now you're Christopher. You're back to Chris. And unfortunately, he's getting older. But like you said, you never know. There's always a team out there, right, looking. I can tell you right now, I don't know what plays can be made, what trades can even be done. But what I'm seeing here with the Chicago Bulls and this ball situation and his knee is just it's not even going to be fixable. We got sold a lemon. I hope I'm wrong.
That's a shame.
It's a big shame. And let's go local. You're in Philly. We're off Suns and Dallas now. We're moving on. So good luck to Golden State. Good luck to Dallas. It's going to be a great series. Let's go local. Philly lost. We talked about this. I loved Philly. Now, you were right. And wow, when Jimmy Butler was going off, is that true? Did they take over Jimmy?
No.
There's a lot involved in that trade, really.
Yeah. No, not really, because I understand why he said what he said. And the Sixers did offer him a contract. I think it was like 5 years, $150 million. It wasn't a super max or whatever.
Right.
And there was some. Now you got to go back to. Forget what you know about Ben Simmons now. You got to go back to that year. None of this shit happened yet, right? All you're looking at is a guy who's 2 years into the league, who you drafted number 1, that's going to be the next LeBron if he gets a jump shot, right? The guy showed all the promise, defensive, tremendous, 6'11". So it was like they knew they were going to have to max him out at some point. Mm-hmm. So there was some contention with Jimmy because Jimmy had some issues in other places. And was he a problem? That was real. So they looked at it like, and apparently he had a little bit of issue with the coach at the time. There were some things that were going on internally that made it kind of like, well, what are we doing here? Like, knowing we're going to have to max out Ben, do we offer Jimmy this? Is it going to work? And ultimately, that's why they ended up going away from it. And when he left, they were afraid because Tobias Harris was on his free agent year that they just lost Jimmy. And if Tobias leaves as well, now they've lost fucking everything. So I think they felt pressured. And they signed Tobias to a max. And then they were able to sign Ben to the max. And that's how it got to where it got to. But they didn't really choose Tobias over him. It was more of how it played out. And they felt like, now they could have offered him the max. And maybe looking at it now, obviously that probably would have been the smarter play, right? But
right. Well, we don't know. I mean, if you got Harden, probably wouldn't be there. He
wouldn't.
And if you had Simmons, who was the Simmons we thought.
Yep.
So, like you said, would have played out, but I don't know what it is, and I don't know why, and I think I'm buying into your theory on this team defense, and you've talked about it before with Boston, and let's preview that series. That's the next one coming up.
Yeah.
Boston, Miami, they got a game
Yeah.
tonight, game one,
Yep.
over under 204, not moving. I think the spread Boston minus 1.5 or whatever it is. I don't even know now. I didn't even look. I have no idea.
It was
Uh,
2 or something like that.
okay.
Yeah.
So I can't get a read on Miami defensively. I don't know how they do what they do so well. And then you got how the hell does Oladipo go off for 41 out of nowhere? How did they even get Oladipo? Like I'm looking at this and it's starting to
Yeah.
make sense a little bit, but this is gonna be a
Yeah.
good series.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, if you look at the construction of Miami, and they've been dealing with injuries all year. Who knows what Lowry is or if he plays, right?
Right.
But like, they got 2 guys in their starting lineup that were undrafted free agents, undrafted in fucking Max Strus and Gabe Vincent. Okay, they had another guy in Duncan Robinson that they can't even get off the bench. They signed him to a $90 million contract a couple years ago. He's not even playing for them right now. Like, if Duncan Robinson was on the Sixers right now, he would start for them.
It's crazy.
He's not even on, right? So it's like amazing where they find this pool of talent from. Obviously, Jimmy went from a really good regular season player to like pretty fucking elite in the playoffs, it looks like. But I'm not taking anything away from Miami. They beat the Sixers. They beat a Sixers team that, was shorthanded on the bench, meaning their bench was shitty. They were playing with a very injured Embiid, half a Harden that was not a player that he used to be. So not taking anything away from that. I just don't think the Sixers were as good as I was hoping they would be. Going into that, though, like I said to my guys before, I said I believed that the Celtics were going to win the last series against Milwaukee. And if they do, I am taking them to beat Miami. And I like them in this series for a few reasons. I think ultimately they are the deeper team. I think they have the team defense. They're both tremendous defensive players. I'm not trying to slight Miami. I think that's why I think some of these scores might be lower. But I think that the combination of Tatum, the killer that he is, the fact that Jaylen Brown can be a killer, I just think they have more offense in more situations. I love what Grant Williams did against Giannis. Robert Williams is back. That's huge. Bam Adebayo is a 6'9" center. They got a lot of length. They got a lot of size. Al Horford's a thick guy. Like they have a lot of ways of resistance. And if they turn Miami into just a half-court jump shooting team, as great as a three-point shooting team as they are, I mean, I just think the Celtics have more, if that makes sense. Now, what's interesting about it is the game tonight, the Celtics are not favored. Miami's favored, but yet the Celtics are favored to win the series. So I think there's a lot of things that point towards Miami winning tonight, and that would be the time that they've had off. They've been off for a few days where Celtics just played a game 7, basically 2 game 7s because they had to win a game 6 and a game 7. So I can make cases for Miami winning the game tonight. And here's what I'll tell you too. If that happens, I will buy Boston again to win the series at plus money. I'm already on Boston. I will take them again if they lose tonight.
You've sold me on Boston numerous times, numerous shows. Last week you were talking about them. I've seen it. Al Horford continues to even hit from deep. You got to respect him outside. It opens up the inside. That's why I love the over tonight. I know the world's on the under. I like the over 204. I think there's some value there. Look at the other game tomorrow, 214.5. You're going to see some more scoring maybe there, but I don't know. That might be the underplay. But again, I'm with you. This Boston team has so much. At times, I feel like they play so shitty, and they're turning the ball over.
Yeah,
and the first quarter they come out a little flat, and then they start putting it together, and the other team just cannot keep up.
Yeah, and dude, honestly, if you really go back and watch that series that Miami beat the Sixers, and even in the games outside of probably the game that they closed them out, all the other games that they won, they didn't really play well. The Sixers were just flat out worse. They left them in a bunch of those games where it was like, holy shit, we're only down 8. Like, how are we only down 8? And if they play like that against the Celtics are going to beat them, dude. And I would expect them to play better. I mean, I got to feel like they would, but also like, I know Miami's like that crowd in Miami is a little weak at times. Like just half the stadium wasn't there. I mean, I don't like, is that really a home court advantage?
No, it's not. Nobody's there, for first 2-3 minutes of the game. And then you've got halftime. Nobody's there till you feel halfway through the third, like the seats are full again. And it's not. And I like Boston. I really do. It's going to be a good series. I don't think it goes 7. I think it's 6 games. I think Miami wins game 1. Boston comes on a tear, wins 2 in a row. Miami comes back, wins 1, and then that's it. It's 4-2. Celtics are going to the championship.
I mean, I can't necessarily make any argument for that. I mean, if you wanted to tell me it went 7, okay, fine. But I can absolutely see it going 6. And I think I will be as honest as I possibly can be about this. And I have considerations on buyback. I haven't done it yet, but like I have Boston on the series. That's not where the buyback comes in. Right. I originally, when the open line came out, though, I did take the Celtics tonight plus the 2.
Okay.
But as I thought more and more about it and the rest and all that, I think it does favor probably Miami more. So it's not to say the Celtics can't win tonight. I'm considering buying back or maybe hedging. I don't know yet. I haven't done it yet, but either way, if we're just talking series, I do like the Celtics to win the series regardless.
The only concern for Miami tonight is the fact they have been resting. The fact
that's true.
They might come out flat. And Boston might be
right.
Like,
you're right.
We don't want to go through that again. We're kind of fresh. Let's go. We're killing. Keep the foot. Act like it's game 8 against Milwaukee. If they can keep that mentality, unfortunately, the under might hit because they're going to play defense.
I think that's real. I mean, there's a chance that maybe they do come out flat and maybe Boston gets on them a little early, but I just wonder if any of that fatigue sets in late and Miami gets. But I'll say this: if Boston wins tonight,
do you feel these players know it's a 7-game series? Hey, let's just get our fucking legs, run some offense, kind of feel them out. Things. They don't give a fuck. They lose this game.
I mean, I don't think. I think neither team believes that this game will be the winner and all be all. Like, in other words, like if Boston loses tonight, then you can say, all right, well, Miami was supposed to win. They were at home, right?
And
then tomorrow, then the next game becomes huge because if Boston steals that game, now they have home court advantage. Mm-hmm. I just feel like if let's just say Boston wins tonight for some reason they do, then I would really be looking at fucking Miami in game 2 because that becomes. I think Boston might exhale at that point, going, all right, we've got one.
Got the 1 lead. Now we've got the home court. You got home court back now. Yeah. Miami.
You know what I'm saying? Right.
There's some good lines there. And that's where this gets really interesting. This is where it gets great for a lot of the sports bettors out there, specifically ones that like the NBA, like NBA playoffs, because I don't want to say it's predictable because I haven't been doing that great. I've been off and there's a number of factors for that. I'll tell you this though. We're getting to that point where it gets scripty too. I've seen a lot of stuff going around with the Warriors script going to the finals, same color as Ukraine. I've seen some weird stuff, but I've also seen a lot of numbers supporting the Boston Celtics. Heavy numbers, like scary numbers universally. So that if I had to make a future, I think that's it. It's got to be Boston winning the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that, dude. I've said this. I think it's going to be a Mavericks Celtics finals. I stick by that. I don't have. That's a tough one for me. I was saying, like, I think I can make. I want to. Let's see if we get there. I'll have some thoughts about it, I guess. But that is where I think it ends up. I can't disagree with you as far as how it gets there as the 6 games. I mean, I think that's legit. I just think, like I said, the fact that. I mean, and you're talking they're a minus, I think the Celtics like minus 175 to win the series, something like that. And yet they're not favored tonight. That's telling, really.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I like it, dude. I'm on both of them. I'm on like the Celtics to win, and I'm on the Mavericks. A sprinkle on the money line or on the plus 200, and I took them plus 1.5. That's where most of my money's at.
Okay. Yeah. So far for me, just no series bet. I'm not a series bettor. I don't know why. I just don't think I'm as good of a handicapper, which is really messed up. And it's probably more to do with like money management, where I can throw the whatever the hell on a series. But I did have a future on the Suns, which I got pretty good value at plus 700 a while ago. So there was some value there, and I'm still learning. So I can tell you what, though, when I look at these totals, I can see it opening up a little bit. And as I can see 88-82 final, and I'm like, gosh darn it, the numbers are just pretty scary where they're steering toward this under, and I just can't buy into it right now.
Well, for the Miami game tonight, I mean, here's part of it. If there's a feeling out process that goes on, I mean, then they're not going to be going like I wouldn't think there'd be a lot of transition and a lot of electricity early in that game.
Yeah.
But also with the way those two teams play defense, if it does become a half court game and it's a lot of jump shooting, that's not probably good for the over. I mean, of course, but they're both canning threes, which could happen. I mean, then it does. But those teams excel getting out in the open too. So we'll see how it plays out. Game ones are always tricky. I think they're always the trickiest game of the series because it's like you just don't know.
Game one on the total side for me, notoriously, only in Eastern and Western Conference Finals, I always go over the lowest total on the board. This was this game. So it's been pretty good. It hasn't won every year or every time, but this one pans out well because there's so many people getting itching back into it, right? Because listen, there was how many TikToks you see yesterday where people were like, "Oh, there's no NBA or NHL to bet on tonight," and they were like all upset that they had to bet the MLB. There's a lot of money out there tonight, and it's going to be exciting as hell, dude. I'm just excited.
Yeah, I mean that's true. Yeah, people get so degenerate. It's okay to take a day off, for Christ's sake.
I know, right?
It's okay, people.
Yeah. Hello.
It's all right.
Yeah. I mean, it feels good. I used to do it all the time. I mean, I was playing. God, what was I playing? I was playing hockey or something. Hockey's been okay. I haven't played much. I was following a couple people that are playing hockey. You're not playing hockey, are you?
I don't do a lot of hockey during the regular season, but I did have some playoff series. I took I'm actually 2-0. So who the hell did I have? I had the Hurricanes to move on. Okay. And I had the Lightning to move on. Oh, nice. And now I just took the Panthers to beat the Lightning. Now that's a little bit of I mean, some people would tell me maybe I like the Lightning too. I mean, I think they're good. I just think the Panthers they're favored to win the series. So it's not like I'm not really completely going out on a limb, but I just like that team a lot. It's funny. You got two teams from Florida where it doesn't even fucking snow, and they're like the best teams in the league.
That's how it's been operating for, I think, the past freaking 4 or 5 seasons now. I felt like Tampa Bay won a lot, then the Blackhawks won a lot, Pittsburgh won, and then Boston, or they were winning too, and now it's all Florida. Yeah,
and I got a kind of a rooting interest a little bit. Not like I'm a Florida Panthers fan or anything, but the captain of the Flyers for like the last 12, 13, 14 years, Giroux. Yep. He's there now, and he didn't win a cup with us, and he was a really good player. So I kind of like it for him, but for my money as well.
I like Panthers. The only ties there's probably a couple more that I don't know about, but Joe Quenneville, unfortunately, obviously was out. But yeah, great coach. Would love to see him in the playoffs. Yep. But you can do better. All right. What else am I missing from NBA perspective? Is there anything else that you wanted to touch on? I know we talked about Chris Paul. We talked about the Suns. We talked about Dallas. Anything else that you've seen that's crazy, weird, out of the ordinary? Anything you noticed gambling wise? Obviously, you do baseball. We'll get to that in a minute, but let's wrap up the NBA.
Sure. No, nothing really. I think we touched on everything I wanted. We spoke a little bit yesterday about how I had some feel of what I wanted to mention. I think I got to it all. Just I think there's definitely some matchup opportunities for the two teams that I like that moving forward, which is the Celtics to win and the Mavericks to win. I think we're both on the same side. I don't know if that's good or bad, but either way.
I flip a lot, and that's why I like this show. Every week it changes for me because I do think the script changes. And if I'm seeing, a lot of fouls in game 2, I mean, it's come down to where I've had bet on six, this is the previous series, Sixers Heat, where I have a bet on the Sixers, and then coming close to game time, I'm like, or if there was a game on earlier, oh, wait a minute, this guy got all these calls, I'm going the other way. We got to switch it. So that's why we got the Discord. You were in there.
Yep.
I gotta start using it a little bit more, but life.
It could be consuming, dude. We had a Discord going back. I mean, I still have it. It go back for years though, but it was open to the public, and we had so many people going in and out of there that I had to have moderators, and it was taking up so much of my time because it was notifications, and it's a great tool, but you have to be dedicated to that pretty much all day long.
Ours is we or the people involved, it's all invite only. So it all comes to me, hey, add this guy. And the idea is that, there's people in there that I talk to all the time that I've never even met, man. And, when we meet at some sort of event eventually, it's going to be great because we've got, you've seen them. I mean, the golf guys. I mean, so I'm trying to create that atmosphere. And
I love it.
But again, it was dead. Rickyphantain this morning was like, hey, let's wake up. So anyways, we threw some picks out there. But speaking of picks, let's jump into baseball. How's baseball been here for you? Obviously, you're doing picks. Where can people find your stuff daily on TikTok or Twitter? And if they want to buy any of your stuff, where do you put that at?
Sure. I gave out 3 picks on TikTok actually earlier today. I think I've said to you before, I don't really advertise my like VIP specifically. It's not like a huge deal. If you're interested in it, I've been doing it for $30 a month. People find me organically. They usually ask like, "Hey, can I get all your shit?" That's usually how it goes. I don't advertise it too much.
Pay for VIP. You don't even need to pay for VIP. We win. I win more off your free shit.
I appreciate it.
You know what I mean? So it's great. It's more free value. I think. I don't even think I've ever paid for picks. But anyways, go ahead.
No, you're good, bro. Yeah, I mean
I have bought picks. I want to be very clear here. I'm a pro buy picker. We do a whole podcast on that, but keep going. Son.
Oh yeah, dude, absolutely. I'm with you, bro. I appreciate you very much. And the 3 plays I gave out today are 3 off. I had 4 plays. 3 of them were off my card. I gave those out. I mean, I'll touch on it now. Hopefully, one of them's in motion. I had the Mariners tonight as a dog plus 125. Logan Gilbert versus Barrios. I like the Texas Rangers Angels game over 8.5. I think that Hearn and Reed Detmer's coming off of a no-hitter is an absolute fade spot. I love the over 8.5 in that game. Also, the over 8.5 in the Red Sox Houston game.
Okay, which game was that before that? You said Hearn. Yeah, I did like that.
Texas Rangers Angels over 8.5.
Okay.
And then Houston Astros Red Sox over 8.5. That's Urquidy and Evaldi.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also like, and that's why I was asking you about the score. I liked the St. Louis Cardinals, possibly first 5. Possibly full game. I was leaning more towards first 5 because I thought the pitching advantage was more with the starters, but the Mets are playing good baseball.
Double header for the White Sox today. I believe Arizona's a double header as well. I don't follow baseball as much as you do, but you got some stuff out there. We appreciate it. We really do.
Yes, sir.
We've got some guys that are joining the group right now, Scotty Styles and Mark Styles. Those guys are MLB degens.
Awesome.
They're putting up stuff. And then, of course, we got Rickyphantain, who sends us a ton of stuff, but some of it doesn't make it because he just plays a lot of picks. And
I get it. Yeah,
it's insane. I don't even put him out. I mean, his big boat play, which a lot of guys were on the Angels yesterday, did not cash.
Yeah, that was a. I mean, I get it. The Angels, but the Angels are just, in my opinion, they're so overvalued. Like the prices you have to pay to bet them, and I get it. They're going to win games, and I'm not saying you're not going to win with them, but long-term betting Angels money lines, that's not where it's at.
You'll be bankrupt real quick. I think what was surprising to early bettors on that game yesterday was I think the money line was so small, like 135, and I think people saw the value in that. But even at 135, they want you to take them because they know this is one of the most overrated teams in baseball.
Agreed. Yeah, right. Exactly right. I mean, they'll hit, but they'll also give up runs, and we'll see what happens with them.
What were your thoughts, real quick, before I let you go here? Pirates,
sure.
Cincinnati, no hitter thrown, still lose the game. Your thoughts?
That's wild. I mean, I don't recall ever seeing something like that. Man, I don't know if that was that the only time it's ever happened.
I didn't even know, but I've never seen it.
Trying to think. I think I've seen. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't exactly that. It's something similar to it, though.
What happened in that, by the way? I don't even know what happened. How did that even happen?
There was an error, from what I understand.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay.
Yeah, it is. I flipped back and forth. Once the no-hitter was, what was that?
The Reds are terrible, huh?
They're not good. No.
Yeah, they're not good. What about Johnny Cueto? A little rebirth in Chicago. You think there's anything there, by the way, with all the teams that he's been a part of winning World Series? Your thoughts on that?
Johnny Cueto. I mean, he had his moments with San Francisco for the last couple seasons, I guess. I mean, I don't know. Like he's totally different than what he was.
Yeah.
He used to be kind of like a fireball, or now he's kind of junking it up there. Yeah. I guess there's guys, in an era of velocity. I mean, I guess if you're under the radar, you could be successful if you're hitting your spots.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree with that. All right. Any final thoughts before we wrap up here on the midweek report? What do you got? Any parting words for people as they head into the weekend? What do you got?
Man, I wish everybody the best of luck on their wagers, and always bet responsibly. Be mindful of your bankroll. If you don't like something, you don't have to bet it. And I can tell you, like, if you go to a casino and you're waiting in line to make a wager and you're staring at the board and you haven't made a decision prior to walking up to the board, you might as well just fucking not bet the game. So, that's where I'm at with it. Have a decision, stand by it. Don't flip flop, because if that's how you feel about it, you shouldn't be on it.
there are people that call me Davey flip flops, but I flip flop for a reason because it keeps me, engaged. But I don't know. It hasn't been working.
Davey football. That's funny. Hey, that's all right. I get it, man. It's natural.
Yeah.
And for me too, if I over like, that's why sometimes if I handicap a game, and I've been around other handicappers that I worked with, and they'll be like, "What do you like?" And I'll tell them. And let's just say they, in their mind, like something else.
Yeah.
Maybe it was the opposite of what I liked. And then it's like they tell me the reasons. Then I start going, "Oh, wait. Oh, I can understand that." And then I have to be 100% in what my process is. And if I come to a conclusion that I'm willing to back, I'm not saying that person isn't making valid points, but I got to believe them, because otherwise you will do that. And then you'll overthink shit.
Right. Yeah. And then you're, like you said, you're off your game, you're losing or whatever. And then you got to like regroup or refine it. Right. Exactly.
Yep. Absolutely.
That's what I did today. I looked at it, gut screamed over, don't think about it, clicked it in. We locked in. We locked in. That's it.
Yep. That's it, brother.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for the midweek report right here on Hashmark Sports. Appreciate it, Philly. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
And we'll talk to you soon next week. Good luck. And look for all the TikToks here, all the highlights and stuff. They'll be out there soon.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you, bro.
Thanks, man. See ya.
See you, brother.